Classic mode uses your phone's camera feed and lays a transparent picture that you want to draw over that camera feed. If you look at your phone's screen, you'll be able to see the picture that you want to draw and the place where you want to draw it at the same time. This lets you easily trace an image onto any surface. To get started with classic mode, you need to suspend your phone above your drawing surface. You can use something like a tall glass, a spray can, or better yet, one of our Vinci Eye phone stands. Links to these stands can be found in the app. If you're using a glass or a can, it's recommended to add a loop of painter's tape to the top and the bottom of the glass, so the phone stays in place when you touch it. If you're a lefty or a righty, it doesn't matter. You can position the phone any way that is easiest for you to draw. Now it's time to position your image on the paper. Press the Move button, and with one finger, you can move the image around. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, and even rotate the image relative to your paper. When you are done positioning your image, make sure to unpress the Move button. This locks your image in place, so you can zoom in to draw fine details, or zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. To adjust the transparency or opacity of the image, press the Opacity button. This brings up the opacity slider. You can move the slider to make the image more or less transparent. You can also switch the opacity on and off using the opacity toggle. Now, let's check out some need-to-know features located in the Tools menu. If the camera seems blurry while you're drawing, go to Tools, then Camera, and then you'll be able to adjust the focus manually using the focus slider. To apply image filters, press Tools, then slide the menu all the way over to Filters, then press Filters. From here, you can do things like change your image to grayscale, add posterization, or blur. Next to filters is the breakdown tool. This lets you break down your image into layers or steps by color value. For experienced artists, it'll help you analyze the notan or structure and composition of your artwork. For beginners, it turns any image into a draw by numbers project. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off. This allows you to easily compare color values of your reference image to your drawing. The last absolutely need-to-know feature is the record button. From there, you can record time-lapse videos of your drawings, just like these. Make sure if you post your time-lapse on social media to tag us for a repost. We're @VinciEye on all the social networks. If you need help with anything, press the question mark in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos, check out FAQs, or email us. We usually respond extremely fast to questions and feedback. And that wraps it up for our Classic Mode Quick Setup tutorial. For more in-depth videos, be sure to check out the instructional videos section of the app, or browse and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have tips and tricks, live streams, and guest artists teaching drawing and painting techniques using Vinci Eye. get started with AR mode, you will need to create an anchor. An anchor locks your reference image in place so you can move your phone or your canvas, and as long as the anchor is in view of the camera, your reference image will align itself back perfectly with what you are drawing. To get started, take a business card-sized piece of paper or larger. Then take a black pen or marker and add lots of squiggles with many intersecting points and different shapes. The more tiny little details, the better the anchor will work. Also, the larger you make your anchor, the further away from your canvas you can have the phone and still have an accurate placement. It's a good idea to tape your anchor in place on your paper before you draw. This ensures that your reference image will always be in the right place. You should be prompted to make an anchor right away. However, if you want to make a new anchor, press Tools, then AR, then Anchors. To upload your anchor, press Add Anchor. Then press the purple button at the bottom of the screen to bring up the camera. Make sure your camera is perfectly level with the anchor. You don't want to have it tilted like this, or else it could distort your overlay image when it's virtually projected on your paper. When you're finished, press Use Photo in the bottom right corner of the screen. Next, you need to crop your photo. Drag the corners of the cropping frame to just inside the edges of your anchor. Make sure there is no background visible. The last step is to measure your anchor. Make sure that it is at least 3.5 inches wide. Take a ruler and measure your anchor's width. Then, type in the width and press Done. You should be brought back to the Anchor Manager screen. Here, you can press Done in the top left corner. Now your image should appear on top of the anchor whenever the anchor is in view of your camera. Do not try and hold the phone in your hand and draw. You can easily make a stand out of objects found around your house, like with tape and a tall spray can, a tall glass, or a vase. You can also purchase an inexpensive stand like this one. A link to stands that we recommend can be found in the app. Now it's time to position your image where you want it on the paper. Use 2 fingers to zoom out so you can see your paper as a whole. Then, press the Move button, and using 1 finger, you can pan your image. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, or rotate the image. When you have the image exactly where you want it, press the Move button again to lock the image in proportion. Now, you can zoom in to draw fine details, or you can zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. To make the image more or less transparent, you can press the Opacity button in the bottom right corner of the screen. You can use the slider to make your image more or less transparent, or you can use the opacity toggle to turn the image on and off. Now let's check out some of the need-to-know features located in the Tools menu. Once you have the phone set up, you can turn off the phone's autofocus by going to Tools, then AR, then Fix Focus. This will also refocus the camera to your paper if the camera is blurry. To apply image filters, press Tools, then slide the menu all the way over to Filters, then press Filters. From here, you can do things like change your image to grayscale, add posterization, or add blur. Next to Filters is the Breakdown tool. This lets you break down your image into layers or steps by color value. For experienced artists, it's a great way to help you analyze the notan or structure and composition of your artwork. For beginners, it turns any image into a draw by numbers tutorial. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off. This makes it easier to see where you've drawn already and where you still need to draw, as well as helping you see what areas need to be lighter or darker. The last absolutely need-to-know feature is the Record button. From here, you can record time-lapse movies of your drawings without the overlay, just like this one. Make sure that if you post your time-lapse videos on social media to tag us for a repost. We're at Vinci Eye on all the social networks. We love to see what people are creating with the app. If you need help with anything, press the question mark button in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos on how to use the app, check out our FAQs page, or email us. We usually respond extremely fast and love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using the app. That wraps it up for the Quick Setup AR Mode tutorial. For more in-depth videos, be sure to check out the instructional videos section of the app, or browse and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have tips and tricks, live streams, and guest artists teaching drawing and painting tutorials using the app.
Just making sure the mic's on before I even start talking, because I always forget to do that. So hello, my name's Charity Low. Just give me a second. Oh, what's going on? Just give me a second. I'm having some issues. Okay, my name's Charity Low. I am a big fan of the Vinci Eye App, and because of that, I asked them for a job, and I'm here to teach you the ins and outs of the app. Go ahead and ask me questions throughout the video. I am here for you. I want you to draw along with me if you can. The reference photos are found in the Vinci Eye App's Facebook group and my Facebook page, Charity Lowsart, in the featured posts. It's also directly in the app itself. So if you go to the top left corner in the app when you first open it up, there's 3 purple lines. You click on that and then you press the little magnifying glass search bar, and then you just type in Charity Lowsart. That pops up. You go to the light bulb thing, which is the inspirations, and just scroll through it. There is a lot of stuff on there, but scroll through it until you see a realistic photo of a cat. I also do free stencils for that too, so you're free to use anything that I post in my inspirations for anything, even if you're selling it. It's fine by me. If you want to be featured in the next slideshow for the beginning and the middle of these lives, just send me an email. The email's in the description, and just tell me your name and send me pictures of your drawings. And you can have as many pictures as you want. I just would like a more variety of different styles and stuff for those slideshows. So that would be really nice if you guys can do that. You are free to ask for requests for future videos. That could be portraits, which I do a lot of already, people and pet portraits. It could be landscapes, still lives. It could be different mediums, stained glass painting, wood burning, fabric painting, cookie decorating, different mediums. You can also request that I draw certain photos, whether that be royalty-free photos or your personal photos. If it's a personal photo, I will send you my original drawing for free, including shipping. Shipping's free in the mail. So yeah, if you want me to do that. You can also challenge me with things like drawing with only the primary colors to make photorealistic stuff, try to draw with my left hand or whatever. I am here for you and whatever you're interested in. Even if it's something that I haven't done before for like mediums and stuff, I am willing to spend the extra time the week before to learn that skill and teach you the helpful beginner tips that I've learned from my studies. If you do not have the app and you would like to try the app for free for a year, there's a promo code for the iOS version in the description. Android is currently free. They just dropped their new version, which is just catching up to the iOS. It's got the social platform that the iOS has, and it's all connected, kind of like logging into Facebook, and then you have all access to your stuff right there. It does have some advertisements throughout for the free version, but you can buy the app without the ads if you know you're going to use the app. But it's a great opportunity to see if you actually like the app before you jump into paying for it. If you have any tech support, if something's just not working properly, send a email to the app developer. The email is info@davinciieapp.com. That's also in the description if you need to. Join the Facebook group, the Vinci Eye Apps group. I am always there every day checking in, make sure everybody's doing well and they have their questions answered. You could also post your drawings there and you can have people interact with them. I also host challenges and competitions every so often for cash prizes. So if that's something you're interested in doing, yes, join the community. So now let's get into the app, and I'll just show you my favorite tools and how I use them for starts. Just give me a second. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. I think I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, there it goes. Oh boy. So the features I love to use for my drawings, well, let's start off with the anchor. You can make your anchor by hand, which is a small piece of paper with some permanent marker scribbles all over it, or there's printable ones, which is automatically calibrated to the app. And what it does is it allows you to have it at an angle. So if you need your drawing surface at an angle or your phone at an angle for comfort and convenience, then it will automatically adjust to that angle so that when your drawing is done, it doesn't look all warped. And also, if you move your phone or tablet, it will, your phone or tablet or your drawing surface, it will stay aligned. So, and then it will also automatically save the position if you need to take a break and come back to it another day, which that's what we do a lot of in these live videos, is that it takes more than one day. And then some of the tools I like to use for my photorealism are this breakdown mode. So you go down to breakdown mode, turn that on, and make sure the cutout is off so it's gray, and then I have about 5 steps that I like to do. Have the opacity right, or the exposure in the middle. And then what it does, it gives you step-by-step stencils by color value. So the first step is going to be a light gray all in the colored areas. If you have a hard time seeing certain colors, you can actually change the color with the plus and minus. And you just fill in all of the colored areas with a light gray. The next step, it will be less space that you need to fill in, but a little darker, so on and so forth. So this is a great base for graphite and watercolors. That's what I use that for, but I don't really use it for my colored pencils. There's some other things that I do for that. And then another thing that I really love is the strobe feature. So I turn that on and turn the opacity to its fullest, and then it will just go back and forth between your drawing and your reference, so you can see all the little minor differences that would make a huge difference and change them as you go along. You do not need to take the tracing app to the extent that I do. You can just draw the basic shapes, the outlines and stuff, and then put your own creative twist on it. It could be more expressionism or whatever you want to do. But I'm a portrait artist and I like to try to get every single detail correct. Some people think that's not a very creative way to create art. But I really do enjoy it. I enjoy seeing people's faces when they see their loved ones in a unique or in a piece of artwork. People really do enjoy that. But anyways, and then another thing that I really like, which you'll see me do a lot of, is you can zoom in and everything stays aligned. It's just perfectly aligned. So it's like using a magnifying glass, which some people actually do use for some of their artwork as well. But yeah, it's got everything and more from all of the different tracing methods out there. There's just a bunch of different things that this app can do that other tracing methods lack in. So it's my personal favorite. And as that is, we'll get going into the actual drawing. Don't hesitate to ask questions during this live. I can see the comments beside me, so I will answer them as soon as I see them. So I'm actually going to go and tell you a little bit more about how I choose colors for my colored pencils. So just give me a minute. So there's a few ways that you can go about it. One is, well, first you want a second reference to go by, something that's not the app. So you can either print off another reference, like really as big as it can get, or you can pull it up on a digital device like a tablet or a computer. If you do it through the computer or tablet, transfer the reference onto a photo editing app or a drawing app, and then use the color picker, the color grabber, and touch the area that you want to work on, and then it will show you the exact color for that area. And then there's so with that, then you also want to make a swatch of all the colors that you have for the pencil set that you're using. I recommend going from dark to light, so dark, hard pressure to soft pressure, so that you can see a wide variety of those colors and different shades. And then you want to write down the number and the name of each one by its color so that you can easily pick what you want. So I find that this is the most accurate method with the tablet or the printed copy. So you just look back and forth. So like right here at the nose, I don't know if you can see this, it's kind of got like a nice warm brown color, and I think it's closest to this one right here. So then that's the color I would pick to work on it. There's another thing, which I really hope one day we can actually collaborate, because then it just turns everything into a paint by number. It's not super accurate, but it's great for beginners. It's called Colored Pencil Picker. So it's an app that, I'm not going to pull it up right now, but it's an app that you can either have, choose like a pencil set that's like common to use. So you just press the pencil set you're using, or you can create your own pencil set. And then you put your reference into that, and you click on the area you're working on, and it gives you all the different colors that you need to make that certain color. So it'll give you the undertones and everything. It's not 100% accurate, but it's great for beginners to actually start seeing the difference color and like undertones and stuff, to learn color theory. But I personally have, like, I've used it, but I've upgraded to doing it this way. So using that. So, and then each way, doesn't matter what you choose, everything's going to be slightly different than the next. So what that means is You don't have to get it exactly the same color for it to look realistic and like the drawing. So, and nobody's gonna really know that, like, pay attention too much about the slight differences. So don't stress too much when you're picking colors. Just make sure it's in the general, like, in the general colors. Doesn't have to be perfect. So when picking I also recommend when you're learning to do colored pencils for the first time, you do not need to get a really expensive pencil set. You can honestly start off with Prismacolor. You can start off with Crayola. You can get some pretty decent photorealistic drawings from Prismacolor. Crayola. And then once you get comfortable with like the colors and stuff, being able to mix and blend and all this other stuff, then go ahead and invest in something a little bit more expensive. Each higher brand has like a different formula too. So do some research on what you think you would work best for you and what you want to accomplish with your drawings. So each one has their pros and cons, but just do some studying on which ones work best for your technique. So I hope we can get this done today, to be honest, but we're going to zoom into one section at a time. We're going to start off with the lightest colors and then with like a soft texture that's nice and smooth. And then we're going to add the texture over top using the darker colors. So let's take a look at our reference. Right now I want to look at the colors that are right on the side of his cheek. And I see a light blue, a tan, and I think that's it. Maybe a slight pink, or maybe the tan will just be fine. So let's pick out those colors. I also see gray, obviously. There's a lot of gray everywhere. So let's take a look and see which one works best. I think it's the light one. And then when you're doing things like cats and it takes for, like there's, when you're doing cats or doing the skin tone or whatever, like big areas, just collect the pencils on the side. This helps like make everything seem cohesive and it's all part of the same cat and nothing really pops out too much, if that makes any sense. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do light pressure with circular motions, and I'm holding the pencil at the end so I can use the side of the pencil rather than the tip. If you're using the tip of the pencil marks are going to be really hard to blend out. Now, it's not a super big deal for drawing fur, but I really do want you to get in the habit of doing that. So if you're doing something else, like skin texture or fabric, whatever, you have that habit to be able to blend nicely with everything else. So just get into that habit of doing light pressure and circular motions. And again, I'm using a different color, light pressure and circular motions, holding the pencil closer to the end rather than the tip, allowing me to use the side of the pencil. And we can fill in the entire area with this light layer of color because some of that is going to peek through underneath that texture that we're going to put on later. So just go ahead and fill in that space with these colors. And then I'm going to add very light gray. I need to add another gray to my pencil set because this is quite dark. And that's what's nice about having your own swatches, is so that you can actually add or remove colors to what works best for you. So light pressure, circular motions, again, holding the pencil at the end rather than the tip, allowing you to use the side of the pencil, making it a nice, smooth finish. And we just really want to fill in. Make sure that there is a little bit of color everywhere. You do not have to put the gray everywhere. You can keep some spots a little lighter with those other colors. And then let's take a look at the dark areas now, and let's see what colors we can find. I think I see a little bit of brown, but it's a very light brown. So I'm gonna need this one. I'm not gonna tell you the exact colors I'm using. I'm just gonna describe it. And then of course I see black. So I'm gonna add black to my palette here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use the gray to get some texture over those light areas. And I'm following the direction of the fur. You can, if you want to, try to get the placement exactly like the original. If not, you can just be a little bit more free with it. It's not going to matter that much. I'm just a perfectionist, and that may or may not be a good thing. So yeah. Don't feel pressure to get it exact. But what you do want to focus on is the direction of the fur and even the curvature of the fur. That's what you really want to focus on when doing this. So we can hold the pencil closer to the tip at this point because we are creating texture now. We just wanted to fill in all of that space so that there was no white poking through, because there is no white, or very little bit of white poking through. And we're just gonna slowly build up the shade. So we're going to do light layers, and then as we get going, we can add more layers, which will create a darker shade. And then when we get to the point where it just needs to get darker and everything else seems to be in the perfect place, then we can start putting more pressure and finishing it off. I find zooming into one section at a time really makes it less daunting. So you're pretty much just like drawing a whole bunch of tiny little drawings to make a big one. So you're just focusing one section at a time. So what you do not see on the live video is that I have my phone actually streaming to my TV that's above my head. It is it is in real time, so there's no lag or anything like that, but that will depend on how good your internet is for being able to do this method of casting to a TV. Let me send a message to one of my friends. I don't know I think she's busy today like she usually is. Let's go here. Okay. Oh, sorry about this. I just want to try to get some more people in here so that we can have some, conversations going. So please comment. Paste. Next. Post. Sorry about this. I should have done this a little bit sooner while I was waiting for the live to actually start while it was just going off. Let me see. Is it going to pop up? Okay. Okay. Just wanted to try to get some more people up here in the chat. So I just wanted to let my Facebook page and the Facebook group know that I am here. We're just slowly building up the intensity of the shade or the darker areas. And we're going to follow the direction of the fur and the curvature of the fur. Those are really important. Try not to crisscross furs. It just looks really strange, unnatural for photorealistic art. Okay, and I think I'm going to add some brown to some of these dark areas too. So now I'm going to go over it again, still just doing little lines with the direction of the fur and the curvature too. I really hope that we can get this done today so that we can move on to our next project. Our next project was a request from one of the viewers, and they want to do stained glass paint by Deco Art. Now, just so you guys know, I would like you to get a floating frame and stained glass paint from Deco Art. You can get the paint directly from the art supply company itself at decoart.com. And I think you could also try to find it on Amazon too. So you need that paint, and then you're going to need a floating frame. And that's going to be a 2-day project, but it's not going to take long to do the first step. It just takes about 24 hours before you can start doing the second step. So it's going to be a two video session. So we're going to do the first half one week and the second half of next week. So if you have any requests for fill in during the time, like wanting to do some more like focused studying, like say hair, fur, eyes, hands, feet, whatever you want to work on, we will do that for the fill in. Now we're going to go in with black just in the really dark sections. So like right in here. And we're just following the direction of the fur and making sure we can create the texture using the tip of the pencil. Another thing, I had it in my head and then I lost it. Okay, there it is. Another thing that you want to be doing is picking up the pencil every time you make a stroke. You do not want to zigzag. It just doesn't look right. You just want to pick up the pencil every time. We're getting closer. And I'm going to go in with a gray to get some of those lighter areas ever so slightly darker, because I kind of see that they need to be a little darker. Also, just using the tip of the pencil, and we're doing light pressure for now. And yeah, pick up the pencil every time that you place it down for each fur. You do not have to be exact to the reference. I just like working on one section at a time for the purpose of making it less daunting. Let's take a look at it. Is there any colors that are missing? Does it need to get darker still? Like, just, is the placement of the pattern of the fur right? Like, those are the things you don't want to try to look at while you're just taking a minute away from it. I'm going to add some brown in some of these areas and like the lighter areas, because I feel like it needs a little bit more color, a little bit more warmth to it. So we're just going over in some select areas. So light pressure following the direction of the fur, picking up the pencil every time, holding the pencil closer to the tip so we can get a nice sharp line for this. Now you can go on forever doing this, but I think I'm going to call it quits. Let's see what it looks like in comparison to the rest of the cat. Does it look like it's going to blend in pretty good? Well, looking at the reference that's printed off and my drawing, I think I need to add a little bit more warmth into the little light spot on the side of this cheek. So I'm going to add a little bit of that just to warm it up a bit. And also right here. And then it's a little bit more blue in this section. So I'm going to add a little bit, very light pressure for this. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. The next step is blending it a bit. There are many different methods into blending. One of my favorites, well, yeah, the one that I use most often is a colorless pencil. So a colorless pencil, there's no pigment to it. It's essentially just presses the color and breaks up the little micro beads to push it right into the paper, making a nice solid look. This, depending on how you use it, you can be able to preserve the texture that you created by going again in the same direction as the fur so that we still have that fur marks. Other methods, you can get a blending marker. So it's a clear marker it just kind of dissolves a little bit of the pigment and spreads it around. It does give more of like a marker look when you're done. And other things that you can use is other colored pencils, white colored pencils, but it does kind of like soften up the colors, make it a little bit more pale, or like the lightest version of that color in that section. So doing the colored pencils have it more vivid. Colorless pencil keeps it vivid and true to the color that you place down. It just darkens it up a little bit. You can also use hand sanitizer and a Q-tip. That gives it more of like a watercolor or marker look to it, like alcohol marker. Or do some research on the different pencils that you have, because each pencil has a different base to it. Like Prismacolor's oil is wax-based, and Faber-Castell Polychromos are oil-based, so they work a little bit differently. And there's different solutions that you can get, like liquid solutions, and then you use a firm brush to blend. So those are the different options you have. There's no right or wrong. You just do your research and see what it turns out to look like so it works better for your own technique on how to do this. So I'm going to take my colorless pencil and I'm going to push that color right in, following the direction of the fur. I'm going to start off with the lighter areas. So place down the pencil and pick it up every time. And we really want to try to fill in those little gaps, the little circles that are just not picking up the pencil. You don't need to push so hard that you're gouging the paper. But we want to be able to fill in that texture. And who sent me a message? Nothing important. Okay. Nothing that needs my attention immediately. Okay. So I'm just going in the direction of the fur, really trying to push that pigment in. And you can kind of see it really getting darker than it was. making it more solid, but we are still keeping the texture. Like you see that? It's just blending it a little bit, but keeping the texture. And then like a pro for using colorless pencils for blending is that you can always go over it again with some more details. So if we need to get some more sharper fur texture over top of it, then we can, because it's not adding anything more to it. If you're using a colored pencil to blend, then it fills in the paper and you lose the tooth texture so that it's not able to pick up anymore. And it's especially more so with Prismacolors when using colored pencils, is that it just fills up that paper so much that it makes it hard to add layers. But on the other hand, Prismacolor is really vivid and it's actually easier to blend than Polychromos. So it's all about your preferences. Some people use both. I personally like to use Polychromos because I can add more to it. Okay, there is a section that I'm noticing by looking at the reference that is too dark. Another cool thing about Polychromos is that you can erase somewhat. It's a lot easier to erase all of it if it's a super light layers and it's like the first 3 layers. So I'm using my electric eraser because that just has a little bit more power to it. And I'm just gonna go over that area and pick up that color, making it a little bit lighter. I just noticed that it just needs to be a smudge lighter than what I have it at. And then we're gonna go, I think I'm gonna use a white colored pencil. Some pencils overlap a little bit better than others. So like you can go over some sections with white. Some will be super bright white and some won't, depending on what you're doing or what kind of pencil you have. And then this is really going to soften up those lines a lot when you're using a colored pencil. It just really blurs it out. It also blends a little bit more using a colored pencil, but it's not something that you always want. I'm going to go over the edge of that face too with this white to brighten it up. And then I'm going to add that bright white in some little spots where I see it extra light than the rest. And then with Polychromos, even though you've already, you put a lot down, you can still go over some areas and put other lines over top of it so you can kind of bring back the texture a little bit. So you can still add, and then you don't need to put a whole bunch in those light areas of the final layer to bring back those textures. You don't have to do a lot, just a little bit. Let's go into the next section, starting off with the colors that we see in the lightest section. So I see a light blue and then a bit of a green. Let's see what kind of green we need. think it's a dark green. But we need to do it lightly. And then with the green, I also see the complementary dark red. Which exact dark red do we need? So let's take a look at everything. I think I need this one right here. And I think that's actually pretty much it. And you can also take some of these colors and put them over top of the other areas that you've worked with so that it's more blended in and looks like it's part of the same drawing. Hello, Brown Jack Paws. Welcome. If you have any questions during this live, feel free to ask. I am here for you. You are welcome to ask for requests for future videos. I can do different mediums. I can do different subjects. I can do something completely different like stained glass painting, wood burning, and fabric painting and more, whatever you want me to do. If you have a photo that you want me to draw, that's your personal photos, not something you find off the internet, I will send you the original drawing that I do to you for free with no extra charge. And if you don't have the app and you would like to try the app for free, there is a promo code in the description for the iOS, and you can try it for a whole year without paying anything. Android's currently free. They just dropped their brand new version, which is just catching up to the iOS. They want people to give their honest reviews of it. There are ads, just so you're aware. And if you don't want the ads and you're going to love the app, then you can pay for an ad-free version. There we go. So I'm going to do very light pressure and circular motions right where we see the green. And we can go a little bit outside of those areas if we want. This is just to get in a good habit for future projects, especially if you're going to be doing smooth textures like skin, fabric, whatever. And it also has like a really nice base to the cat so that you don't have like white marks that need to be filled in a little bit. Oh, and so to draw along with me, the references are in the Facebook group, Vinci Eye App's Facebook group, and my personal Facebook page, Charity Lows Art, in the featured posts. Or if you just go to the main page of the Vinci Eye App, you'll see three purple lines. You click on that and then you press the search bar and search up Charity Lows Art. Go into my inspirations and scroll down until you see the reference that you're drawing along with me with. So then you click on it and then press draw this and then you're good to go. And I really do recommend drawing along with me because that helps. Doing the work, just practicing, will help you build your skills. Okay, so now that we got that green down, we're going to go in with a little bit of blue just in the sections that we see it, and we can also kind of have it pushed outwards from those sections, just overlap other things. This is a light layer. It's easy to add more to the top as long as you're doing those light layers. Okay, I think that's good. Let's see, is there any other colors in those really light sections that we need? There might be a slight need for a cream color. So I'm gonna get a cream color and then just put it in some sections that I see that. Again, you can go a little bit further out from those sections, kind of get a nice blended look. And we can always add more to it later. And is there anything else that we see? Maybe a little bit of tan too, just a little bit. Wait, where do we see that? Right in here. Okay, now we can start building up the texture to go over top of this. I'm gonna start off with a gray. And now I'm holding the pencil at the tip. This way I can get nice sharp lines to create the texture. So we're gonna follow the direction of the fur and also try to recreate the curvature of the fur too. Do not want to do crisscrossing if you're trying to do a photorealistic drawing. You can try to get the placement exact to the reference. The Vinci Eye allows you to do that if you want to spend months working on this. But it's not necessary. As long as you get the general placement, it will look perfectly fine. So the only thing that really matters is like the general placement of the print and the shadows and the highlights. Okay, let's continue. So I'm using gray. I'm just following the direction of the fur, trying to also recreate the curvature of the fur. Straight lines just don't work very well. Even if you're doing like hair, straight hair, it's kind of still looks weird if you're doing perfectly straight. You need to have that curve somewhere. So like if it's the top of the head, you need to do curved. Just follow it. Just follow the direction. Ooh. I have a fan who is selling their first commission from what I understand, and that's super exciting. I am super excited for them. And then we can add a little bit of that gray in some of the lighter areas, just not as concentrated as the rest. Even in the super light areas, we can add a few of those gray fur just to create some texture, but we don't want to have it a whole bunch of the gray fur going through, so we can keep it nice and light. Okay, Thanks, I really like the kitty. Okay, hi Charity, I think I love this app like you do. I just don't like people looking over my shoulder. LOL, it's my secret app. Do you have any advice on how to keep it steady? Thanks for your help. So you're talking about the steadiness of your phone when you're drawing? Is that what you're asking? I just want to clarify before I start talking. Oh, stealthily. Sorry, I did not like a military jet. Oh, I'm still not quite understanding. Stealthily. For some reason, I'm not understanding. It's like how smooth and quick I do stuff. Is that what you're talking about? I am so sorry. If there's another way to describe it, just let me know. Secret. How to keep it secret. So not telling anybody. I don't keep my stuff secret. When I do commissions, they are very much aware that I trace. You're going to get people, and it's going to be really hard to get through this because I've been through this. It is going to be really hard to tell people, or when they ask, to be honest with them. It was really hard for me to do because I always felt the shame of I'm tracing and it's cheating, because that's what other artists think. That's not what the majority of people think. People who aren't artists. It's usually just the artists themselves. So it is a very toxic environment that artists have to deal with. But it takes a while, and you will find that there are people out there who really just don't care if you trace or not. They really just want a nice, good, professional looking drawing. That's all that they're looking for. I had somebody pay me and they actually watched the whole process because it was a very quick thing. They brought in a huge canvas and they wanted me to put a little teeny tiny drawing that's very simple, or a painting, in the corner of it. Huge canvas, small thing. It was really weird. And I showed them how I did it. And I didn't ask for money because I didn't really feel like it took that long to do. Like it was only maybe like 30 minutes to complete the project. And they're like, how much do I owe you? I was like, I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about getting paid for this. And then they just gave me money anyways. So even though they saw the process from beginning to end. But I'll also tell you this, you do not have to tell everybody that you trace. If you have a commission and they don't ask, you don't have to tell. It's not lying if you don't tell them. Unless if they ask. Then it's lying if you don't tell them. Are you talking about people that people think that you are cheating? My focused art would have many famous artists would have loved this app. Yes, I am very much aware that there's many famous artists that have used similar tracing methods going back. We have records going back to like the 1400s, but there's evidence that it's possible that it went even back further than that too. Like, first thing that we've probably done in history was tracing our shadows onto like cave walls, tracing our hands to, like there's just a bunch of things that we've done for many, many years. But there's still people out there who think it's cheating. And it's just silly. It really is. So like Leonardo da Vinci wrote in his notebooks about optical lenses that he used to trace some of his artwork. He didn't trace a lot of it, like trace all of his artwork. And then there was also the I can't remember. Poking holes in paper in certain areas, so it's like dot to dot art tracing method. So there's the camera lucida, the camera obscura. The camera obscura is like the first steps to our modern camera, where it uses a tiny pinhole in a box or a room that's dark, and then whatever's outside of the box and room right in front of it would reflect onto the opposite surface. There are many different things that they changed in that to make it work better, but like famous landscape artists would stand outside with these boxes that looked awfully like the first camera with film, and then they just trace the outline of everything and then take it to their studio and finish it off, or even stay there in that spot, put up the art piece and then start painting the colors in and stuff. But then after a while they're like, oh well, do you know what would be easier if we just get this chemical reaction that reacts to the sun's light and then get a reverse image that, yeah. And that's why people thought that cameras were going to kill art. They're like, it's the end of artists. We don't need them. We have a camera that does everything from beginning to end. But it still stayed. It still stayed, even though that was like one of the biggest things that people were afraid of for their artwork. Okay. I love this app, and I'm so glad you love this app. I love this app. Anyways, it is time for a quick break. There's going to be a video of how to use the app with the Android, another slideshow, and this is a good time. Just stretch your legs, get something to snack on, and also start thinking about some questions. We're going to take a quick little Q&A if that's up, if you're wanting to do that. If not, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. Okay. Let's hope this works.
DaVinci Eye uses your phone's camera feed and lays a transparent picture that you want to draw over that camera feed. If you look at your phone's screen, you'll be able to see both the picture that you want to draw and the place where you want to draw it at the same time. This lets you easily trace an image onto any surface. To get started, you need to place your phone on top of a tall glass. If your phone doesn't have a case, it might slide around when you touch it. This makes adjusting settings while you're drawing very difficult. To fix this, cut a long piece of tape and fold it into a loop. Place the tape loop on top of your glass, and this will stop the phone from moving around. You can also place a tape loop on the bottom of your glass to stop the glass from moving around. If you're a lefty or a righty, it doesn't matter. You can position the phone any way that is easiest for you to draw. The higher that your phone is positioned, the more of the canvas you'll be able to see and the larger the picture you will be able to draw. Tall aerosol spray cans work great, or you can use one of our DaVinci Eye phone stands, which lets you easily adjust the height and position of your phone. Links to these stands can be found in the app. Now it's time to position the image on your paper. Press the move button, and using one finger you can pan the image. Using two fingers, you can zoom, shrink, and rotate the image. When the move button is unpressed, the camera will be locked together with the reference image. This lets you zoom out to see your drawing as a whole, or zoom in so you can draw fine details. To make your image more or less transparent, you can use the opacity slider. Move the slider to the left to make your picture more transparent, and to the right to make it less transparent. If you find that your pencil or paper is blurry as you're drawing, you can adjust the focus of your camera by pressing Tools, then Camera, and then Fix Focus. To record a time lapse, like this one while you draw, press Tools, then scroll all the way to the right, press the Record option, and then press the Record On switch. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This strobes the image on and off so that you can compare color values and you can see places where you still need to draw. In addition to the multiple filters in the Filters tab, there is also the Breakdown feature in the Breakdown tab. This breaks down your image into layers by color value. For beginners, it turns your photos into a draw by numbers project. Or for advanced artists, it can help you analyze the structure and composition of what you are about to draw or paint. If you need help with anything, you can always press the help question mark in the top right-hand corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos, check out our frequently asked questions, and even email us. We usually respond to emails extremely fast, and we love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using our app. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest to see instructional videos and demos of how to use all of the amazing features that are in DaVinci Eye. get started with AR mode, you will need to create an anchor. An anchor locks your reference image in place, so you can move your phone or your canvas, and as long as the anchor is in the camera's view, your reference image will align itself back perfectly with what you were drawing. To get started, take a business card-sized piece of paper, or larger. Then take a black marker and do your best Jackson Pollock impression. Make a lot of squiggles with many intersecting points and different shapes. The more tiny little details, the better. The larger you make your anchor, the further away from your canvas you can have the phone and still have accurate placement. It's a good idea to tape your anchor in place on your paper before you draw. This ensures that your reference image will always be in the right place. You should be prompted to make an anchor right away. However, if you want to make a new anchor, press Tools, then AR, then Anchors. To upload your anchor, press Add Anchor in the top right corner of the screen. Press the purple button at the bottom of the screen to bring up the camera. Make sure your camera is perfectly level with the anchor. You don't want to have it tilted like this or like this, or else it could distort your overlay image when it is projected onto your paper. When you're finished taking a picture, press the OK button at the bottom right corner of the screen. Next, you need to crop your anchor. Drag the corners of the cropping frame to the edges of your anchor. Make sure there is no background visible. Then, press Crop at the top right corner of the screen. The last step is to measure your anchor. Make sure that it is at least 3.5 inches or 8 centimeters wide. Now press Done. Now press Use Anchor. Your image should now appear on top of the anchor whenever the anchor is in view. Do not hold the phone in your hand and try to draw. You can easily make a stand out of objects found around your house, like with tape and a tall glass, tape and a tall spray can. You can also purchase an inexpensive stand like this one. A link to stands that we recommend can be found in the app. If your camera is not in focus, press Tools, then Camera, and then Fix Focus. This will refocus the camera to your paper. Your image will appear in the center of your anchor. To position your image on your paper, use 2 fingers to zoom out so you can see your paper as a whole. Then press the Move button, and using 1 finger, you can pan your image. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, and rotate your image. When you're done, make sure to press the Move button again to lock the image in proportion so you can zoom in to draw fine details, or you can zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. Now you can adjust the opacity. Press the opacity button in the bottom right corner of the screen to make the image more or less transparent. To apply image filters, go to Tools, then Filters, and then press the Filters button. Filters can make your image easier to draw by helping you see different elements more clearly. You can also use the Breakdown tool by going to Tools, then Breakdown, and then Setup. This lets you break down your image into layers by color value. This is great for turning any image into a paint by numbers tutorial, or if you're an advanced artist, it can help you analyze the no-tan or structure and composition of your artwork. To use the strobe feature, go to Tools, then Strobe. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off, allowing you to easily compare color values of your reference image to your drawing. This is one of the most powerful tools in the entire app. To get to the last absolutely need to know feature, press Tools, then slide all the way to the right and press Record. Then turn the record switch on. This lets you record awesome time lapses of your artwork without the overlay, just like this one. Make sure if you post your time-lapse videos on social media to tag us at Vinci Eye for a repost. If you need help with anything, you can always press the help question mark in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can check out our frequently asked questions, watch instructional videos, and even email us. We usually respond extremely fast emails and love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using the app. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest to see instructional videos and demos how to use all the awesome features Vinci Eye has built in.
Hello, I am back. Are you guys back? It's a good time to interrupt me in my little spew of things for questions. But till then, until I see some new stuff. My name's Charity Low. I am a commissioned portrait artist, and I found this app during a time where COVID hit and I was without a job, and this was the only way that I was able to pay my bills, was doing commission work. And I fell in love with the app so much that I asked for the job, and that's why I'm here. So I'm just like any other artist. Just a little bit of other stuff. If you want to draw along with me, which I highly recommend, the references are posted in the Facebook group, Vinci Eye App's group, and my personal Facebook page under Charity Lows Art, both in the featured posts, or you can get it directly from the app. If you go into the main page, click the three purple lines on the top left corner, and then press search and type in Charity Lows Art. You'll be able to find the references in the inspiration section of my profile. You just need to scroll down a little bit because I do post some stencils that are free for you to use for whatever purpose you want them, even if you are going to sell whatever those images are on. I'm okay with it. It's 100% free. But just scroll down until you see the reference that you want to draw along with me. Go watch some of the previous videos to catch up. And yeah. If you want to post your artwork in the slideshow, please send me an email. My email's in the description, and just give me your name, and you can post as many of your art pieces you want in that, because I don't have very many. It's just me and one other artist right now, and I would like to see a variety of different styles and stuff. So please, if you feel comfortable doing that, do that for me. You are free to ask for requests for future videos. Right, our next thing that's a request for these videos is stained glass paint by Deco Art. So you can buy the paint directly from Deco Art website, or you can possibly find it on Amazon. If you're in the United States, I think it's cheaper to buy it directly from their website. But yeah, just do some shopping around and get the set. And also you're going to want a floating frame for the art piece, so the light can shine right through it when you have it up somewhere. So go get those supplies if you want to do that with me. It's going to take about a couple of days to do, just because it takes two different steps. One is the line work, which needs to dry completely before you fill it in with color. So I would like to have your input if you guys want me to do like some smaller studies for just filling in the 2.5 hour gap of like time for my videos. So if you want me to do another hair study, studying eyes, noses, feet, hands, whatever, you can go ahead and feel free to ask that. You can request me to do certain photos if that's something you want to do. If you have a personal photo, I will send you my drawing free. Shipping free, everything's free once everything's done. I can do wood burning, stained glass painting, quilling, fabric painting, window painting, cookie decorating. I can do more than just pencil work too. I could do soft pastel, watercolors, acrylics, pens and markers, if that's something you're interested in at least getting started in. Like if it's a brand new subject for you, I could do those for like starters. But I am a master at pencil work and portraits. So yeah. If you don't have the app and you would like to try it for free for a year, there's a promo code for the iOS in the description. Android is currently free. They just dropped their brand new version. They want you guys to try it out and give you their honest review. I am going to let you know now that there are ads while using the app. I know it can be annoying, But at least you can try it, see if you like it, and then you can pay for it without the ads. So there's that. If you have any technical issues, go and email Sam, the app developer, at info@davinciieapp.com. So if you have any issues with anything, just ask him. Join the Facebook group. There, sometimes I post, host challenges and giveaways, or challenges and competitions for cash prizes. And I'm also there on a daily basis, just checking in on everybody. You can post your artwork there. You can get inspiration from other people. You can ask questions and get answers from not just me, but other artists that use the app. And yeah, so that's it. And continue talking to me. This is really great. I am very happy that you guys are talking to me, and continue to do so. But let's get started and continue on this drawing. I was really hoping to get this done today, but I don't know. I don't know what's taking so long. And I'm really glad you guys love the app. Like, I am absolutely in love with the app. All I do in my entire day is just app stuff. Okay, so I'm going in with the dark black pencil, just getting those really dark sections down. I'm going to follow the direction of the fur and the curvature of the fur, picking up the pencil every time I make a stroke. I'm holding the pencil at the tip. This way I can get a nice sharp line. This helps with creating the texture. And we're just slowly building it up to get that nice dark and textured areas. Having this many people on is kind of like, I know it's not a lot, but it's kind of making me nervous, if I'm being honest, because it doesn't really happen very often. I usually have just one person pop up and then say like one or two things, and then they disappear. But hopefully I will be able to build up this stream a bit more and become the next Bob Ross, but of every other thing but oil painting. I'm just teasing. I'm just joking around. Okay, I'm going to go in again with a little bit of brown in some of these areas. A little bit more in the brighter areas, because there's like I don't know how to explain it. Okay, I think we're pretty good for for this step. There are multiple different ways to blend. One of my favorites is using the colorless pencil. It doesn't put anything more on top of it. It just pushes down the image and breaks up the little tiny like beads and microscopic beads to really get a nice solid color. And it also helps control the texture a little bit more. So it doesn't make it get so soft that it's really blurry. It does keep some of that texture. There's other things that you can use. There's colorless markers that are meant for blending pencils. They kind of give more of like a watercolor or like a marker kind of finish to it. You can use pencils like this. You can use colored pencils, whether that be a white colored pencil or a very light color of the drawing. It kind of gives it more of like a painted look. And it also keeps it very vivid unless if you're using white. White kind of softens everything up. You can also use hand sanitizer and a Q-tip. Again, it kind of gives more of like a watercolor effect or a marker effect. Or you can do some studying of your pencils that you choose, because each each pencil set has a slightly different formula. For example, this one's a big difference. Prismacolors are wax-based and polychromos are oil-based. So the different solutions you can get, it depends on that, what actually breaks down those materials. And that also kind of gives it like a watercolor or marker finish to it. If you're going to use colored pencils to blend, it's going to be a little bit harder to do another layer over top of it. But if you're using a colorless pencil or markers or any other solution, then you can still add those extra layers on top. So just to let you know, you do not need to get a really expensive pencil set. Crayola is a good starter that you can practice your color theory and layering and other techniques to create a blended finish. So if you are not ready to invest in good like high quality pencils, start off there, figure out if you like the medium, and then when you're ready, then get a pencil set. Each pencil sets have their pros and cons, so also do some research on that independently so you get the right set for you. Okay, so we're going to take the colorless pencil and we're going to drag the pencil following the direction of the fur. This way we preserve the texture, but we're just trying to push in that color in those gaps to make them a little bit more darker, a little bit more vivid, and more solid looking, making it look less like a pencil drawing, like a rough pencil drawing. This kind of helps finish it a bit. So you see how that's really filling in those gaps? I don't know if you can see it very well, but it looks a little bit more finished when you do this. And pick up the pencil every time you make a stroke. Try to do it to every inch if you possibly can to fill in those gaps. I'm going to go past the areas that we just worked on, just kind of blending it into the rest of the drawing so that it looks like it's just a continuation and not just an individual square. Just really get that mixed. So you see the texture is still there, but it's still got that vivid and it looks more finished that way. Okay, I am going to go over it in some, actually, I think the best option right now is there's some pencils, do your research, there's some pencils that actually erase, might not erase the full, all of it, but it does make it so it's easier to get some lighter sections. So I'm using pencils that do erase a little bit. So I'm going to just use my electric eraser. This is just, it has a little bit more power than just a regular eraser. And it's also easier to create texture with it. So I'm just gonna pick that up to make it a little bit brighter in areas that I feel like they need that little bright areas. Erasing's a lot easier in the first layers. It's a little bit more difficult in like the final layers, just so you're aware. Okay, and then I can go over that with a white colored pencil just to brighten it up ever so slightly more, and we can also kind of fill in the gaps too. It really pushes that in. Using pencils, like colored pencils for blending, just really softens up the area. It's really good for like blurred out fur or backgrounds or whatever. Now this pencil set is a little easier to overlay or overlap more, even when you push in the pigment or use it more pencils to blend. You can still go over it a little bit to get some more texture. Some pencils won't allow you to do that. But we're just going to bring in some more sharp fur, just as a finishing touch. Some fur that is very focused, not blurry. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Is everybody still here? Is everybody still here? Because my technology just shut down on me. Raise your hand if you're still here. Okay, so I went into the new section, and I turned down the opacity so I can barely see the tip of my pencil. This way I can get the outline of the cat a little bit better. We are going to add a shadow underneath him, so it doesn't have to be completely perfect. I talked to the person who wanted me to draw this, and I asked them if they wanted me to have the original background or blank or something different, and they said just plain, so we can add a little bit of shadow underneath, just kind of ground it. But we're going to do that at the end. So we just traced the furry outline of the cat so that we keep it contained, that kind of stuff. Yay, you are still here. At least one of them is. I'm so sorry it cut out like that. Okay, now we can turn the strobe back on, turn the opacity to its fullest. We're going to look at the lightest areas in that section. Okay, so let's see. What do we see? We see some cream colored sections. So we're going to take that light yellow, soft pastel yellow, doing circular motions and light pressure. This is a good habit to get into for other things. We're just really trying to fill in those lighter areas so there's no white gaps where there is no white gaps. If you want to preserve a few, like I got another technique for you. Yes, I was going to add a little color to do that drawing, but I was afraid of messing up. Just start slowly, just add the color slowly, go from light to dark, if you just do really light layers, you can adjust them as you go. Nobody's going to notice. So that's my tip for you. And just practice. Do lots of practicing, and you'll get comfortable with it. Like I was afraid of color for a little bit, but when I was first starting doing commissions for a living. And then I'm like, you know what, let's just change this up. We're going to do it. I'm going to just practice for now. And then the more you do it, the better you get. So just, it's scary. It's something that all artists kind of deal with, is just being afraid of messing up, being afraid of not being good enough, especially when you start selling artwork. It's really hard. I think one of the hardest things that I dealt with, though, as an artist was actually getting denied the finished product. So like when I was doing commissions, I would say, hey, you don't have to pay, like for the first bit. I'm not doing this now. For the first bit, I was like, okay, you don't have to pay for it if you don't like it. And I would always have like something over top of it to kind of make it so that if they do like it, they can't just steal it from me. But I got a lot of people saying, no, I don't like it. And it really hurt. And it was really hard to get through. And it made me want to quit. But there's just took a lot of practice. And I got to the point where I started feeling confident. And then I started asking them for 50% up front. The other 50 would only be if they like it. And then I send it to them. But it is a really hard, confidence is always very hard for artists. It is. So I'm there. I understand. You are so awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're just doing very light layers of these little colors, these undertones of the brighter sections. And we're going to add a little bit of skin tone to it. And we can go over some of the dark areas with this too, because you can add over top of it and it kind of just disappears or is part of those little random light fur sections, if that makes any sense. Oh my gosh, that is so not, wait, oh my gosh, that is not good. I kept all of my rejections in a portfolio that's next to me. All the drawings when I first started in 2020 for like, I've been drawing all my life, but I haven't been doing commissions since about year 2020. So I have all my rejections there. Some of them are horrible. Some of them are okay. There's a few customers that just are so picky that they might as well just print it off because they'd be happier that way. But I do have those, and maybe I should post some of them on the Facebook group. That'd be kind of interesting to look at. Okay, did I get all the colors that I need? I think I might need to use a little bit of blue on just the tips of this. So light pressure and circular motions. Oh, another thing, if you're going to start doing commissions that you should be aware of, never accept photographs that are blurry. If the photograph is horrible, the drawing will be horrible. That is something I learned as a commission artist. Okay, I'm going to start off with some brown to start getting the texture. So I'm going to hold the pencil at the tip so I can get a nice sharp lines following the direction of the fur and also trying to recreate the curvature too. Just have it really natural looking. There's a little bit of fur that kind of curls in itself right here. So we can also do that too. Ooh, somebody's outside. You know what we just did? Okay, so we moved recently. We bought our first home. This is really exciting. Came in just a week before Christmas. It was a really crazy December. But we are slowly creating our backyard to be a really fun place for our kids to just run around and And we just got a brand new trampoline and we put half of it up yesterday. We didn't have a lot of time or energy to do it today. But hopefully he's working on that so that we can go outside and just hang out with our kids and while they run around and get tired. So I'm super excited once I'm done my live to go and check out what's going on in the backyard. We're just going to slowly build up the texture. We're going to put more lines in the darker areas and less lines in the lighter areas, but we still need to bring some of that texture into those lighter areas. So we're just going to be very conservative with the placement. We don't want to add too much to those light areas, but we do want the texture. Okay, and I'm sorry for using that word if it offends you. So now I'm going to go in with gray, just slowly. We're going to be very generous with those darker areas, doing a lot of fur, a lot of lines, holding the pencil at the tip so we can get a nice texture going. We gotta fill in just fill in those dark areas. The more lines you do in an area, the darker it's gonna look. The less lines, the lighter it's going to look. So we're pretty much using like the method of line art when it comes to adding those dark sections, the texture. Okay, now let's go in with some black, just on those really dark sections. Something you are not seeing in my videos is that I'm streaming this onto a TV that's above my head, and that's why I'm looking up and above you. I just find it a little bit more comfortable this way. But because of how the app works, you can actually have your art desk at an angle or your phone or tablet at an angle, and it won't warp the image as long as you're using the augmented reality feature, the AR feature. And then it will just do that for you. It's super cool. Another thing that I like about the AR mode is you can take your phone away for a phone call, or you need to go and do your everyday life stuff, and you can come back another day and it will all realign for you perfectly when you come back. I used to use classic mode a lot because my phone that I had would not support the AR mode. But then I upgraded and it worked really good with the AR. So, and it saved a lot of time. A lot of time. We're just going to take some of that brown, bringing in a little bit more warmth and more texture into those lighter areas. Super light pressure. Holding the pencil at the tip because we're trying to create the texture. Okay, I feel like I need to add a little bit more to this little light spot right here. I'm using gray to fill that in. Okay, now let's see. Is there anything I need to add? maybe a little bit more gray in the general area in here. So I'm going to do light pressure and circular motions, trying to use the side of the pencil. As you probably just noticed, I hold my pencil a little differently when it starts getting smaller. Instead of trying to have the pencil above my fingers, I hold it on the bottom. Hold it on the bottom and just kind of support it with my other fingers and use the side. You get to learn different ways to hold the pencil. Here's some other things that might be helpful for shorter pencils. Some people don't realize this, but you can get, let's see if I have one in here. Do I have one in here? A lot of like drawing sets, like graphite drawing sets, come with an extender. This one's a two-sided extender. This I'll just throw out. So here's the extender. You put your pencil in it. That one's a big pencil, so it's gotta go in the bigger one. And then you push it up, and then it just locks the pencil in place, giving you more space, a longer pencil to hold it, to make it more comfortable for you when you're getting low, when the pencil's getting short. So you can use the pencils a little bit longer in a comfortable manner. Okay. So we're going back into the blending. I'm using a colorless blender and I'm going in the direction of the fur still picking up the pencil every time I make the stroke. This way we can preserve the texture. We're just softening up the lines, making it more solid looking, like there's no gaps in between. It's not really pencil strokes. It gives it more of a realistic effect to it. We're just pushing it in. And again, there's many different ways to blend. Some other methods are using a white colored pencil. The cons to that, though, is that the colors don't stay vivid. They do get a little bit more soft and more pastel-like. Not a lot, but enough. And it also fills up the page, so it makes it really hard to add more to it. So it's like, imagine if you're using crayons, just regular crayons, the first layer, very light layer, you can add more to it. But if you get so much on the paper of the crayon, then it has nothing to stick to and you can't layer it anymore. The pencils do very similar, it just takes longer for that to happen. And each pencil set has different abilities on how many layers you can get away with, or how much you can place down and get away with it to still have that grip. To help preserve the vivid colors, you can also just use the lightest color in that section to blend it in. Like if you're filling in a gray area, then do just a slightly lighter gray to blend it in. It kind of gives it like an oil painting finish to it, if that's kind of what you are looking for. Very soft, blurs and blends super easy if you got the right techniques. You can use a colorless marker for blending, or hand sanitizer and a Q-tip, or do some research about the type of pencil you have, and you could potentially get a solution that was designed to help blend, and you just use a paintbrush for that. Those techniques kind of have more of like a watercolor or like a alcohol marker look to it when you're doing it that way. So whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you want it to look like at the end, then yeah, do some studying, play around, just try to find something that works for you, because not everything I do is going to be right for you and the texture you want to get along with. So I think I said this already, if you're using a colored pencil for blending, then it's going to be harder to add more on top of that depending on the pencil the pencils that I'm using, you can still add a little bit more on top of it, even if you're using a colored pencil, but not a lot. But if you're using like colorless markers or any other solutions, then you can add more on top easily, no problem. So I'm just going over it again with some more sharp textures over top of it, just to help bring that back, because we want a nice solid background, and we still want a few furs that are more focused, if that makes any sense. I still have sections that I want darker, so I'm going over it again with some black, just to really get a nice contrast going. It's just, I'm not satisfied with how dark some of these areas are. I want them to be even darker. So I'm picking up the pencil every time I make a stroke. I'm not zigzagging. Charity, what advice would you give to me to make an anchor that doesn't shake? And have you had this issue? I know nothing is perfect though, thanks. So there's a couple of things that I can think of that might help. And yes, it has happened to me before. I would, have a bigger anchor. And then if you want me to, just join the Facebook group. I will repost this, even though I've posted it twice now. You can actually print off an anchor. There's a page that you can print off that's already pre-calibrated to the app. You only need to print it and cut it out, and it's done. And there's different sizes of the same thing. So I'm going to see if I can find that other anchor. So there's different sizes to it. So this looks like this. So you can either email me, or I can just post it again. But it is a sheet that you can print off, and then you cut it and you're good to go. The smaller the project, the smaller the anchor. The bigger the project, the bigger the anchor. So yeah. I should really bother Sam and be like, hey, can you post on your website where you can print off the anchor? Let me see. I'm going to take a quick detour and see if we can download the anchors directly from the app. So I'm going to go to AR. We're just checking to see here. Anchors. I don't know, question. No, not going to pop up. No. Okay, so I made a bunch there. Okay, it will work for the iOS. I'm going to see if it just automatically pops up for Android. So that's another thing you can ask me to do. You can ask me to use a different phone. You can ask me to use iOS or Android. I got both. It's good. Or a tablet. I don't have an Android tablet, but I do have an iOS tablet. So I'm going to go plus draw, grab something here, just randomly. AR mode. Skip, because I already know everything. So, and that Android... When you go to, when you go to the anchor, I'm going to select this anchor. Let me see, select anchor, use anchor. Okay, so you go to tools, AR anchors, and then it says print. I don't know if you can see it. It says print anchor here, so you click on that. You can print from your phone, or you can share the file to someplace else and then print it. And then, yeah, so if that's easier for you, that's the best way. I should bother Sam to make sure that is possible for the iOS. I get to bother peoples. Okay. Did this freeze? Yes, it did. You got mad at me. Leave. And go back. Lock focus. Everything's back. We're good to go. Opacity up. Tools, strobe. Turn that on. I'm just adding a little bit more in some darker areas. Just filling that in a little bit better. I'm using brown right now. Now we're going to move on to the next section. I'm going to turn off strobe temporarily. I want to get a nice good outline. So I'm going to turn down the opacity till I can just see the tip of the pencil because I want to see more of the reference. And then we're going to trace and create the texture of the fur all the way around the outside of the cat. Okay. So now that we got that, we can turn the strobe back on and the opacity to its fullest. Let's take a look at that section to see what kind of undertones that we see in the lighter sections. So I see some greens, very light greens on the outer edges of that light section. So we're just doing light pressure and circular motions, holding the pencil at the end. This is a good habit to get into because this is a great technique for blending techniques or for having a nice smooth transition for like shadows and highlights on faces and fabrics. And then for this, it's just really good to help fill in and have like a base color so that there's no unwanted gaps. Okay, let me see. I see a little bit of tan too. I'm gonna put that in. It's kind of just a little bit more in the center of those areas, but we can kind of bring it outward or a little bit inward. It doesn't really matter too much. We're just trying to get some color down. I'm just gonna check in here. Just want to make sure nobody's got their house on fire. So I check my messages every so often, even though if it's not an emergency, I don't answer right away. I'm always on the edge. I'm always worried about the worst case scenario, but most of the time everything's good. Okay, so we're just filling this in with a little bit of beige in some areas. We're just doing very light layers because we still want it to be fairly bright in some sections. Okay. I think I kind of see a little bit of an undertone of beige, even in this dark section here too. And I see a little bit more gray and, green in the dark areas as well, but overlapped on top of it is a dark red as well. So we can put that dark red in. Green and red are a really nice combination for like doing shadows on faces. It does make a brown, but it makes a really dark brown. And it's a very natural looking. It doesn't make it look like the face is just like made out of plaster or whatever. It is a natural looking. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Okay, let's go in and start adding gray and texture to it. So we're just using the reference as a guideline for placement. We are trying to follow the direction of the fur and some curvature of the fur too. Pick up the pencil every time we make a stroke, no zigzagging, and no crisscrossing lines either. We want it to look natural. We want to follow the natural rhythm. So we're starting off with the lighter colors. We're starting off with the lighter pressure, and we're going to build it up slowly. And the more layers you can place down, the more realistic and more full it's going to look too. Man, these lives go by so fast. Like when I first started going live, it was only until 12 o'clock. But, so only for 2 hours. I added an extra half hour to this. I have been creative and make my own custom made portable setup. I can draw outside and other places. I can draw outside and other places other than a desk. It's fun figuring things out. Yes, and it's actually really good to be able to get out and enjoy fresh air while you're drawing. Yeah, it's a good thing. I can't figure it out. You tell me how to do that. You tell me something. How do you set it up so you can go out and about with it? And that's probably why you feel nervous, is because you're drawing outside, and I totally get that. So we can add a little bit of texture in those bright areas, just less lines to keep it bright. And then I'm going to go in with brown. We're going to go over top of everything, still doing individual lines, picking up the pencil every time, following the direction of the fur, trying to recreate the curvature too, just to give it more of a natural look to it. Just really focus on all these little elements. You don't have to focus too much on the perfect placement of each line. That doesn't really matter too much. As long as you get the general placement of like the main pattern of the fur and the general placement of the shadows and the highlights. But having the exact placement for your individual lines is not something to worry about. Let's see. So I'm just out of curiosity, did you guys find me on the YouTube channel, or did you see my post on the Facebook group or my personal Facebook page? I just want to know if sharing that stuff on those on Facebook was a good choice for me today, because it's the first time I've done that. And honestly, I usually just have one person who pops up, and unfortunately they haven't been able to join me lately too. So yeah, I just want to know where you guys found the link. YouTube. It's a secret. Maybe I can sell my ideas and share them with others who use this app. Gotta go now. Keep up the good work. I think I got a message. It's a secret. You can't tell me. Oh my goodness. No, you need to go and make a online lesson. That's what you need to do. So I'm adding some texture to those light areas, just not as many lines as I was in the dark sections. YouTube. Okay. That is pretty exciting to have more people show up. I have not ever used the recording part of our app. I have, and actually I've gotten a few videos posted with the time lapse that went pretty good on my personal account. I do have a personal YouTube channel, but I don't really spend a lot of time on it because I'm doing so much for the Vinci Eye App. Like, I'm on here all the time for many different ways or stuff. But I did fan art for a bit to help build up some audience to do more commissions before I started working for the people behind the app. But I did one of Katniss Everdeen, and I think it's at 16,000 views, I think, last time I checked. And it was a time-lapse video. So a lot of people actually enjoy watching them. So if you're looking for something to help boost your views, it's a really cool thing to do. And it's also just fun to watch. It really is. Like, I like seeing how it all comes together in super quick time. It's just really fascinating to watch, personally, too. But I can't do that while I'm doing streams. It's just my phone is being asked to do too many things at once. Running the app, streaming onto the TV in front of me, and streaming onto the software for these lives. So doing one more thing is just overloading it, and it doesn't like it. But I'm able to do it when I'm not live. I'm just slowly building up, getting it nice and dark, picking up the pencil every time we make a stroke, just to get that texture going. The more layers we can add, the more realistic it looks. Follow the direction of the fur, follow the curvature. We want it to be looking as natural as possible. Okay, now I think I'm going to do the blending using the colorless pencil, following the direction of the fur, picking up the pencil every time. We're putting quite a bit of pressure at this time. We're trying to fill in those gaps, make that texture of the paper look like it's not really there at all. We're trying to make that texture disappear. We do not want to gouge the paper though, so don't put too hard of a pressure. Don't put too much pressure on it, just firm. So following the direction of the fur helps preserve the texture of the fur, but we want to try to just make that texture of the paper just not exist. And try to get everywhere for this. It's going to take a while. But try to fill in all of those areas. For some reason, like when the live went black, for some reason my software just shut off completely. So that's what happened then. It just shut down and I had to restart it. And I really hope to fix that sometime soon. Yeah, I think there still needs to be darker sections still. So I'm going to go over it again with some black. Just get those really dark sections even darker. Again, follow the direction of the fur, the curvature of the fur, and pick up the pencil every time you make a stroke. You don't want to zigzag. Also avoid crisscrossing. So don't go this way and then this way. You want it to be continuous, to go in the same direction. With maybe a few exceptions. Just a few, just to make it more natural looking. And very slight changes, not drastic changes, if you're going to do a few exceptions. Okay, going back over it with the colorless pencil, just trying to push that into the paper, making it a little darker, making it blend into the rest. Again, just picking up the pencil every time we do a stroke and yeah, just pushing it in a bit. Go the direction of the fur. And then we can go over some areas to just kind of bring in some more, like a little bit more texture over top, just a little bit, something that's like focused, not blurry. And then let's move to the next section. I really do think that next week we should be able to get this done. And then that might actually give us the perfect amount of time to get the stained glass painting started too. So if you want to join me in the stained glass painting, get Deco Art stained glass paint, which you can order directly from them, or they might sell it on Amazon. And it also depends on what art stores have access to it too. So just look around and then get one or a few different floating frames, just small ones. You can get them at the dollar store, you can get them at Michael's, but just some small ones. We're only going to do small ones. Okay, we're working on the next section. Let's see what colors we see in the brighter areas. We definitely see a lot of cream colors. So we're going to start off doing circular motions and light pressure, just trying to fill in all those areas where we see that cream color. I might actually want to do an outline of the cat now that I'm thinking about it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn off the strobe, turn down the opacity till we can just barely see the tip of the pencil, and then we're gonna just trace the outline of it. We are going to add a shadow underneath the cat when we're finished the cat so that it has like a grounding, but we're not doing any of the background or the floor as is in the original photograph, just so you're aware. So you don't have to worry about getting it exactly. We are going to do a nice soft shadow underneath. Okay, we can turn the strobe back on. That was pretty quick. And turn up the opacity. And then go back to that cream color. Light pressure and circular motions. Just have a really nice base. And you can go outside of those sections. You can go over into the darker areas too. It doesn't really matter. You can build on top of it. And then there is some skin tone or beige in some sections. light pressure and circular motions. We don't have to be exact in placement, just the general space. That's all. I'm also really curious. Where are you from? I'm gonna let you know about myself. I am from Canada. The app developer is from the US. I want to know where you guys are watching from. Okay, now what other colors do we see? A very soft little bit of blue on the bottom. So we're going to do light pressure and circular motions just across the bottom here. And there's just a little bit in these medium toned little spots too. Okay, is there anything else? Let's see the undertones of the dark areas, which is green and red. And with the dark areas, I kind of want to be a little bit more precise about placement. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just a little bit focused more on it, a little bit more. Because like with the lighter ones, we were able to move it around into the dark sections, but it's kind of harder to do that and make it look right with the dark sections. Okay, we're going to go over it with some dark red. Okay, now starting off with the gray, we're going to start building up texture now. So we're going to do a lot of lines in the darker areas and a few lines in the lighter areas. The more lines we put in a section, the darker it looks. We want to follow the direction of the fur, follow the curvature of it as well. Pick up the pencil every time we place down, like do a piece of fur. You want to pick up the pencil every time. We don't want to zigzag, and we don't want to do drastic crisscrossing either. I'm going to kind of let it flow together. We don't have to worry about the exact placement of each individual fur strand of fur, just the general. Yeah, we are definitely going to be able to finish this tomorrow. So we might have some time to start the stained glass painting. Wait, not tomorrow, next week. Why am I saying tomorrow? So make sure if you want to do it along with me to go and order those supplies, the stained glass paint from Deco Art and the floating frame. I found the cheapest dollar store that is available to me, which is the Dollar Tree. They carry floating frames. I'm gonna see if I can show you what frames I'm using. We can call it good for now because it's only gonna be a couple of minutes. So let's see if I can find some. Here we go, there's that one. And then there's this one. So this one here is the one from Dollar Tree. It's got like a little backing to it that you can slip a photograph in. We're going to actually tear that off, and it's going to have the black outline around it, which is fine. We can still work with it. So this was only like $1.25 or 75. And then I got this one from Michael's, and it's completely see-through, including the backing. Like there's like a little stand. This is really fun. I like the stand. So you can actually place it on a table, or you have the options of hanging it somewhere too. But I prefer these ones, but they're more expensive. And these are higher quality. They also, no, I think that's good. I was thinking they also had 2 pieces of glass, but no, it does. Well, it does, but it's not that way. Okay, so there's that. And then I'll show you the paint. Actually, I'll show you the stained glass that it's going to look like. Like, it's going to look like something like this is the project, the stained glass painting. So that's going to be fun. We are going to work on this drawing still next week, but I'm just showing you what else. And then the paint. The paint we're using, I'll let you see what it is so you know which ones to get, is this stuff right here. So this is the leading, the ones with the tip is the leading, so the outlines, and then you got like a bunch of different colors. So that is what we're going to be doing in the second half of next week's video. We're going to finish this later. So for the future, the reference photos are in the app. You just search Charity Lowe's Art in the search bar on the main page, and then go to the references or inspirations on my profile. Scroll down until you find the reference you want to do. For the stained glass paint, you can choose the design. You don't have to do the exact same design. I'm going to choose something that's in my stencils that I have posted there too. USA! Thank you for telling me. You choose the stencils from there for the next project we're going to do. If you want to showcase any of your arts and crafts in this next week's slideshow and future slideshows, just send me an email. You can send me as many art and crafts that you want posted, and you get to be featured on there with your name and stuff. So trying the app for free for a year. There's a promo code for the iOS so that you could try it, and then Android's currently free, but it has ads, so it does get a little annoying, but they're doing that because it's new and they want people to give them the honest reviews so that they can make any adjustments to it if needed. There is a paid version of it without the ads if you so wish, but try it for free to make sure you like it. and stuff like that. Tech support, just email info@davinciieapp.com. You'll be talking to Sam, the app developer himself, if you have any questions. You can also join the Facebook group on DaVinci Eye App's group. There's many artists that post their artwork. You can interact with them. I always check on a daily basis to make sure that people are getting the support they need if they have any questions. And I also host competitions and challenges, both with prizes to be won, cash prizes. As long as you have PayPal, I can do it. It's totally fine, easy to do. And then, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for all the support. This has been a really great live. It's been one of the best, I have to say. And I hope to see you next week. It will be next Friday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So it's the same as what I did today. So thank you.